Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Resonant Culture Brewing out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So this is a little different than the other beers that I've had from them, because everything else they've done up until this point, as far as stuff that's packaged, has been in cans. They've mainly been like IPAs, Pilsners, and like fruited Berliner Weisses. But this beer is called Secret Feelings. It is a mix. It just says on here, mixed culture Saison ale aged in oak barrels. So what they did with this, there's two different versions of this. So the one version was, well, both were aged in stainless with their clean Saison yeast. That was the primary fermentation. And then they were both put into red wine barrels with mixed culture yeast for 4 months. But then one of them, or I don't know if it was half, but part of it was bottle conditioned with additional mixed culture yeast, and then the other part or half, I don't know what this, I'm assuming it was half and half because I think the bottle count was the same. The other half was secondarily fermented in the bottle condition with wine yeast. So I'm assuming the mixed culture one's going to be more tart. I'm guessing the wine yeast one's going to be more dry, but those are just my assumptions. I don't know for sure. But this one that we're doing that's why it has a little tag on here. It says mixed culture, so that's what we're doing today. I will do another video with the wine yeast one, so you will get to see my thoughts on both. Anyways, let's crack this open and see what we got. Whoa, that was a aggressive sound, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything, which is nice. I can already smell it, which is pretty great. Oh, wow, that's pretty lively. Wow. See if I can get that in the picture. I don't know if that's possible. Oops. There. So, as you can see, it pours a slightly cloudy, I wouldn't call it hazy, but a slightly cloudy, darker straw to golden color with a pretty big white head originally, but it has dissipated pretty quickly. It seems like it's pretty lively and carbonated, which is not a bad thing for this style. So, that smells really nice. There's a lot of like apple skin and leathery notes. Definitely a little bit of oak. I don't know that I necessarily get that it's like a wine barrel, but I definitely get some oak character. There's a little bit of like some peach character too. I don't know. I'm not really getting. I know that technically, like, lactic acid doesn't have a smell, but I'm not. I'm thinking this isn't going to be very tart, which to me is fine. I'm just guessing that, and there is a little bit of like just a general funky Brett character to it as well. That is really nice. So, as expected, on their first try, because these guys, in my opinion, are the best brewers in Charlotte, and I say that with an asterisk, only because I don't consider Fauna Flora to be part of Charlotte, because they're not. for me, they're only an hour away, but I'm north of Charlotte. They're really from Charlotte. They're like an hour and a half, so I don't consider them a Charlotte brewery. So what I would consider, Charlotte proper, or at least like where I am, Lake Norman, down to I would say the border, or even maybe even slightly past the border, is what I would consider the Charlotte metro area. And they're the best in my opinion. The carbonation level on this is very, very high. It's not to the point where it's like stinging my tongue, but it is very high. But I mean, that's completely appropriate for this beer. But it's even a little higher than most beers of this style, like mixed culture saisons are. Honestly, like it has a little bit of a tartness to it, to tell that it has some sort of mixed culture in it that isn't just like Brett. I mean, it is pretty dry, but it I think the carbonation helps it too. I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. Like really, if this was more tart, I know people are gonna hate. Like even I'll compare it to Fauna Flora. So Fauna Flora to me, their mixed culture saisons, I don't think they're overly tart, but for saisons, they're still pretty tart. They're more tart than like say Hill Farmstead saisons, or I would say they're more along the lines of like side project saisons. They're not that tart either, but they're more than I would say like Hill Farmstead is. This reminds me more of Hill Farmstead. It doesn't have quite the depth of their stuff that their stuff does, but the carbonation, like I think their saisons are pretty carbonated. The carbonation level was pretty similar. I would say the acidity level was pretty similar. Just the complexity isn't quite to that level, but it is still pretty complex. Super tasty beer. Honestly, the only reason I'm drinking this now because I still have some of the Brew Gentleman growlers to drink that I opened yesterday that I did reviews for, but I didn't finish them. Is because I wanted to do a review for it, but I also wanted to try it because I'm probably going to be back down in Charlotte tomorrow. So I want to know if it was worth picking more up or not. And my answer to that is absolutely yes. And also, so this is a 500 milliliter bottle. This was only $10, which is, I want to say it's like the steal of the century, but it's a pretty good deal. I've paid more than that for stuff not nearly as good in these parts, so that's all I'll say. Really, really nice stuff. It does have a little bit of like a peachy, fruity character. I guess other than talking about the body and the dryness, I really didn't get that much into the flavor itself. It has like that wet hay character. There is a little bit of Brett Funk. There's a lot of oak. There is a little bit of, like I said, apple skins and some peach notes and a little acidity. But like I said, it's not that sour. But I completely expected this given all of the other beers that I've had from them, and even just like their kettle soured stuff, because I know they know what the hell they're doing when it comes to that stuff. But just in general, even if I pull that back and don't really look at it from that perspective, this is a pretty damn good first go around for like a bottle conditioned wild beer. Really, really nice stuff. So I don't think I officially said it, but this is absolutely a buy. It was only $10 for this 500 milliliter, which I think is absolutely a steal. So I am going to be buying more of this for sure. And I'm really looking forward to the wine barrel one. I'm curious. Because like I said, this does have a little bit of fruit character, but it's still pretty dry. So I'm really curious what the wine barrel is going to be like. I have a feeling I'm not going to like it quite as much, but I have no idea. Or it might be really, really similar. So definitely looking forward to that one. So that's all I got on this guy. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.